Hello and welcome to Connected, episode 598. I am your annual chairman, Stephen Hackett. We're sponsored this week by Fitbod, Mercury Weather, and Steam Clock, and I'm joined by my friend Myke.
Hello.
Hello.
No Federico today. He is at a comic book convention, so look out for that, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think he's LARPing?
You know, I'd never considered it, but it's possible. The funny thing to me, so this comic book convention is called Romex, which I just think is hilarious.
Wow, OPSEC, man. He's telling people where he is.
I'm saying all of this because I'm a you're clearly showing that you're not a listener of NPC. You know?
I am not.
No one expected it. But on an episode of NPC that I listened to last night was the moment Federico realized that he was doing this when they said, see you next week. And he was like, oh, hang on a minute. I won't be here. I'm going to Romex. So he said it all in public. So I feel like I can now say it. And I just think that a Rome comic book convention called Romex is really funny.
How is it spelled?
I guess it's ROMICS.
Romex,
I would assume.
Romex 2026.
Yeah, Romex. Rome Comics.
It's the 36th edition.
Wow.
Well, if you want to go in the past and find Federico, that's where he'll be.
Yep.
Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on here on this website.
Yes, it's a serious. It's not a joke. It's a serious thing, you know.
There's a 30th anniversary Space Jam celebration at this.
Wow,
dude,
I want to go now.
Let's go. It runs for 3 more days.
Do you think Federico went to the Space Jam bit? I bet he didn't.
I don't know.
I bet he's never seen it.
We'll ask. We'll have to ask him next week.
I'm going to text him right now, and I'm just going to say, "Have you ever seen Space Jam?"
Okay.
See what he says. And I'll report back if he responds.
Real-time follow-up. In the meantime, we have regular follow-up, and Jonathan wrote in about cheap Mac Pros. We spoke about this last time, about how you can get a trash can just for basically free on eBay now.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jonathan wrote in, regarding the 2013 Mac Pro, I bought one in October, upgraded the RAM to 64 gigabytes, and upgraded to an 8-core CPU for next to nothing. I've got Sequoia running via OpenCore. OpenCore is a way to run unsupported macOS versions on older hardware. This machine is currently serving as my main computer and is great for nearly everything I need, including 3D modeling and Fusion. It's dead silent, and as a benefit, I get to stare at a pretty cool-looking machine every day.
It feels like a lot of work.
It feels like your computer's a time bomb because the GPUs were the problem in these computers, right? You know this better than anybody, right? All the freezing stuff.
Yes.
So, I hope it goes well, Jonathan, but I worry about you.
Yeah, and just something like just the sentence, I've got Sequoia running via OpenCore. That just makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. The OpenCore Legacy Patcher. Legacy Patcher was my nickname in high school. I don't know what that means. Tell us about Dropbox and Backblaze.
All right, so we've got a bunch of people wrote in with a bunch of different suggestions. All right, so Andy wrote in and says, about the Dropbox backup problem. Hook up a large external drive to one of your Macs, use the Maestro app to download the whole Dropbox to a drive, and then have Backblaze make the backup. Backblaze won't even know that it's a Dropbox folder. So that's an interesting thought, right? Like if I copy my Dropbox to a disk, I could then back it up to Backblaze. The problem is, you said use the Maestro app. I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing that. So that's part one. Jonathan wrote in and said, plug in an external SSD, use rclone to sync your Dropbox overnight, add the drive to Backblaze.
Are you going to do that?
I don't like the sound of that. Charles says, can you hook up an external SSD to some stationary Mac, set Dropbox to download everything, and then maybe use a shortcuts action to sync that to a different path and back that up to via Backblaze? Some people also mentioned using Backblaze's B2 as a way to do this backup. So here's the situation as it stands for me right now. So Zoe's saying, I'm surprised how against Maestro you are. Here's the thing. I am not into anything that tries to get around Dropbox. That feels like a problem, an unreliable system, right? Or I can't imagine Dropbox is super thrilled about Maestro existing. I don't know that for sure, but that's my theory. Rob also wrote in and says, I have switched over to Arc Backup, which doesn't have any problem doing these backups. I chose their premium offering, but you could easily point Arc to your backup storage of choice.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it's all kind of like, there's a lot of things kind of like floating around as potential solutions. Now, what I can't do is download my entire Dropbox to my Mac Mini because my Mac Mini's SSD is not big enough. I don't want to have my entire Dropbox folder on an external drive that I'm working from. I'm not into that because it would need to be a hard drive for the size. I would need at least 4 terabytes, right? Maybe more. So what I am considering is some kind of large hard drive which is making a copy of my Dropbox or downloading it somehow, and then using something like Arc to back it up to Backblaze's B2 service, because it's actually quite fairly priced. So I was looking at it today. But the problem is, how do I get Dropbox downloaded in a way that is good? So maybe I do need to use either Maestro or Rclone or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think Rclone can pull stuff from
Dropbox,
the cloud files. I don't think.
Something's going to have to download it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is yet. Like, I have wondered what it might be like to have a Mac, like another Mac that's always on, and has got this thing connected to it and is just doing stuff for me, basically a server. But I don't know. I'm really stuck on this because none of this is easy.
Yeah.
Because also, I don't want a spinning hard drive around where I currently am, my recording environment. I just don't want it. Because I don't know. I genuinely, at this point, I don't know how loud those things are anymore. I've not used a spinning disc in a really long time.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, I guess, 11 spinning in my office between my NAS and my NVR. They can be loud. But you're right. The problem is actually getting the data over, because Dropbox now uses Apple's file provider, which means you can't tell the Dropbox application, put my Dropbox here. I mean, in the old days, you could do that. But Apple file provider API stuff requires it to be in the user library. And so that's why you have to use Maestro or something else to get those files elsewhere. Have you thought about an 8 terabyte Mac Studio just for this purpose?
No.
You can get one as soon as October.
I mean, I priced it and was like, oh no, that's not good. Because like what I think I need to do. So where I am right now is I am thinking I need a Mac plugged into some kind of NAS that has a couple of drives in it. Because I'm figuring if I'm doing this, I should go the whole way and have something set up in some kind of RAID configuration. Because if I'm going all in on backup, I may as well make it good. You know what I mean?
What you have described is a Synology syncing to your Dropbox folder.
Yes, but so there is an episode of Analog that goes up this weekend where I also enlisted Casey in this thing.
God.
So spoilers, Synology's not the move, and he suggested.
Yeah, no, he's anti-Synology now.
Yeah. But like, he didn't really express anti-Synology, just in like, he's like, I know you don't want this.
Sure. I mean, it's a whole computer, basically.
I don't want that. I want a computer that I understand how to use. So that's why I keep falling back to a Mac.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really struggling with this one. I just don't know how to do it properly for me.
Yeah.
I'm very hesitant, and I know we're going to get people. Discord's already lighting up about Maestro, and people are going to write in about it. I just need you to understand, I do not want to add in a bunch of overhead into my life to learn something new. I just don't want to do that. I'm not into it. I'm not interested. Like, whatever this system is, if I end up doing anything, it has to be easy.
I think I just come back to. I just don't know if you need everything in your life on Dropbox. I mean, that's how I was for a long time. That's why my MacBook Pro that I'm sitting in front of has freaking 8 terabyte SSD in it, because I lived that way for a long time, and I just got to a point where I don't need all that in Dropbox or locally. I can hit my NAS from anywhere. So like if I'm in your home, I can get to my NAS on the internet and pull any files I need.
Yeah, but I mean, you're making a good point, but then we're still back to the same situation, because if you say I don't need everything on Dropbox, but then I need it to be on a NAS, then I'm still getting a NAS.
Yeah.
So like I understand where you're going, but we end up back in the same situation of like the setup that I currently have
Doesn't
is
work.
not
enough.
Yeah.
How big is your Dropbox? Do you know? We talked about
at the
this.
moment, it's getting close to 3 terabytes.
Yeah. So you would basically have to buy an 8 terabyte Mac to have it all locally on a Mac. Because
And
a
I'm not
4
doing
terabyte
that.
Mac, you're going to hit that at some point.
I will never get a Mac that can download all of this,
Let's
because
see
the price
how
will always be
cheap-
too much money.
Let's see what the cheapest 8 terabyte Mac is. Probably the Mac Mini,
It's
right?
horrible. It would be the Mac Mini. I've looked at it already. It's horrific. It's like 2 times the price of the Mac that I bought.
Yeah, so
It's horrible.
probably need the Pro chip. 8 terabyte. Let's see. Yeah, you need the M4 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
You can do the 12 core though. 24 gigs of RAM. That's the cheapest 8 terabyte. One, you can get it in July, so congratulations.
Yeah, this was another thing.
Yeah, $3,800.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
My NAS is
That's
way less
more
money
than
than
I
that.
spent on the machine that I'm talking to you on right now, which is like the most powerful computer I've ever owned.
Yeah.
You know, like my thought is get a $500 Mac Mini and attach some drives to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I wonder if you can put 8 terabytes of space in a trash can, Mac Pro.
We've already been over why that's a bad idea.
Look,
know?
you don't need the GPUs to sync files. It's fine.
This is a thing that needs to be solved that I don't feel like I need to solve quickly, but I do feel like it has highlighted to me an area of my life that needs some level of improvement.
Yeah. Clearly, now that I would be the same way. Like now that we know this, I would be uncomfortable with my data just in Dropbox, because a sync service is not a backup, no matter what some other podcasters say. So, gotta do something.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is, and I look forward to what will be more follow up, because it is actually helping me. Like people, we're getting there. Like together, we're getting there.
Yeah.
And I hope that people can hear what I'm saying of like this system for me has to be low maintenance. Like it has to be, because I need to not have to think about it. And learning something completely new, whether that be an entire operating system or a bunch of new apps, it's just not going to, it just doesn't work where I am right now. Like I need this to be simple. And so we'll see. I mean, I do feel like it's not SSD, that's for sure. Like, this is not an SSD system. There was a time where maybe that was a thing. That time is not right now.
Mm-hmm.
That has actually made it harder. Because if this was if we were doing this a year ago, I would just buy a really big, like, SSD or a couple of SSDs and just, like, make it work. But I can't do that anymore, and I don't want to do that. So now it opens up new problems and new solutions.
I mean, big data is just a problem, right? You end up having to make weird decisions.
This is why I used to delete everything.
I mean, maybe. Do you know what doesn't have a lot of storage?
That's a brilliant transition.
The MacBook Neo.
Oh, I have some real-time follow-up.
Okay.
So this must have been really upsetting for Federico. I text him, "Have you ever seen Space Jam?"
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "What?" That is a crazy coincidence. I love Space Jam. I was back at the convention. I took a picture of some guy cosplaying as Batman shooting hoops at the Space Jam exhibition, because they're bringing the movie back to theaters in Italy.
Whoa.
What?
What? Are they doing that here?
Why
Space
are they bringing
Jam
the movie
back in theaters. Space Jam Back to the Future. That's not what I want, Google. Yeah, it looks like it's happening.
Huh.
Oh, no,
It's just
that's
like,
10
what?
years ago. Sorry, I can't read.
Why
that
are
was
they
the
bringing
20th
them
anniversary.
in July? Apparently, it's coming back to maybe they're just big fans. Oh, it's the 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
I don't know if they just do it in Italy or what, but there you go.
Who knew?
Space Jam.
Who knew?
He loves it.
You know what else he loves?
Okay.
The MacBook Neo.
Okay.
Finally made it our way back to it. We've been talking, Federico and I have been talking a lot about like people hacking the MacBook Neo. You know, he did a thermal pad in his to make it dissipate heat better.
Is that a thing people do?
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Have you done it?
I have the parts, or I have like the thermal pad. I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I may do it. I may not. We'll see. Anyways, lots of stuff going on here with the MacBook Neo. The other upgrade thing people are doing, just to get it out of the way, is DOS Dude 1, which is just an incredible YouTube channel, took a NAND flash part, a 1 terabyte NAND flash part from what would be in an iPhone and soldered it into the MacBook Neo, and the MacBook Neo just accepted it. And was like, I have a terabyte of storage now.
That's horrific.
Yeah, the video is horrifying. At some point, he's just like putting a heat gun, just like, I don't know, we got to melt this stuff. Like, what are you doing? Anyways, the news is that these things are really popular, and Apple may have a problem on its hands. I put this on Mastodon yesterday. I went to Target. I was out running errands yesterday. Like, you walk into the Target in my neighborhood, and there's a huge MacBook Neo sign. You know, like the Hello Neo thing. Like when you walk into Target, and they have them for sale.
Can you usually buy Macs in Target?
I don't think so. You've been able to do iPads and I think phones. And back in the day, you could definitely do iPods. I'm pretty sure it's the first Mac you've been able to buy in Target.
So it's not just the Walmart computer anymore then?
We've moved up. We've moved up a level, you know? Depending on what you think about Target and Walmart. We can't get into that today. Sure. But Tim Klupman? Probably Klupman.
Well, it's definitely not Klupman.
It's not that.
And it's not Kolpman. It's Kolpin.
Kolpin.
There's no M in there.
Kolpin. Well, there's an M in Tim. I just moved it over.
Okay. Yeah, I know, but I don't think that's how they work. They're just like transfer. It's just like they're just shifting.
Yeah. So wrote this article about the A18 Pro that's being used in the MacBook Neo, the bend version of the iPhone 16 Pro chip, which ran really hot in the iPhone Pro. If you remember that, like, you know, the 16 Pro just ran hot. Kind of a weird process. That process isn't in use anymore at TSMC. It was kind of a one-off to make that happen. That basically those bend chips that Apple's been sitting aside for the MacBook Neo, that while it's super smart from Apple from an operational standpoint, right? These things would be recycled. Otherwise, you can put them in the MacBook Neo. As Ben Thompson wrote, they're effectively free chips because you already paid to make them. That Apple may be running into an issue where they don't have enough of those.
Okay.
And while Apple's planned trajectory was the next MacBook Neo would be powered by the current generation Bend A19 Pro chips that are in the current iPhone.
Right.
Which makes sense, right? The Neo would be one generation behind, and use chips that didn't make it into those phones. Again, I think operationally this is brilliant. But what happens
unless
what happens if you have too many MacBook Neos to sell and not enough chips to put in them? What do you do? Because these chips were all made, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago. And particularly with the A18 Pro, because that process that was built on at TSMC was unusual and is end of life. What do you do? Like, you can't reasonably make new bad 18 Pros because it's going to be really expensive. And the whole point of this was to use silicon that was effectively free. So what do you do? And it's in some ways, like, I think it's incredible that this is a problem. Like, I love that the Neo seems to be popular enough that this could be an issue. But I wonder if Apple thought that, and I wonder, what their plan would be if they get to the bottom of the barrel of those A18 Pros.
And it seems like there is a thing in here I don't fully understand because I just don't know enough about chips, right? It says, this is reading from colpm.com. The MacBook Neo's A18 Pro was built on TSMC's 3nm process. That node is now hugely popular and effectively sold out. Apple could, in theory, beg for a few hot lots, paying a premium. So the process is still in use, but Apple's not using it.
Yeah,
I think is what this is saying.
Yeah, the N3E. Yeah, so when I was like end of life, it was end of life for Apple. I think other people were using it.
Okay, so there are now lots of... Okay, now you've helped me understand that. I was getting a little bit lost in that.
Yeah,
okay,
Apple moved on from this, I think pretty quickly, but it is very confusing. This was the
one that they only did that one time, right? And
the
then
M3.
They had a different thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very confusing, and it does highlight a bigger problem that Apple may be having, that TSMC is so busy building high-dollar NVIDIA chips to power AI systems that, like, Apple doesn't have for a long time, Apple was the biggest player and, the biggest company in the room when it came to production of silicon. And now that may not be true. And like, it's
just different. There are now other really big people. It's not that, like, I don't think NVIDIA, like, because, well, if you're TSMC, right, like, Apple's not going away.
Right.
Right? Like, so I feel like they probably still have a lot of sway, but the thing is, it's like what Tim Colpin is saying. They could probably get TSMC to make them more chips, but then it's going to be more expensive to do that because they're going to have to pay to jump the queue. Like, TSMC would probably let them, but they would charge them for the privilege.
Right. And on a $500 laptop, that's difficult.
Like, and this is the issue. Every scenario Apple could run now, of which there are many different things they could do, all of it is going to eat their margin.
Yeah.
Because the other thing, which is really funny is, and this is also another margin thing, even if they were able to make more chips, they're not binned chips. They're going to have to disable a core. They'll be better chips, right?
Yeah.
But then they have to disable a GPU core, so then these chips are of the same spec as the previous ones.
Yeah.
I think that this is
I
a
don't know.
fascinating thing that they have done. Like, a great idea. But what they didn't account for was, what if this product is very popular?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
It is wild.
And I feel like maybe what they should do, they should have put the team that's in charge of the fourth iPhone slots forecasting into this. Because that team, they overshoot all the time.
I know.
They need a bit of that forecasting for the Neo.
Did you see the report that's like, Apple's making an iPhone Air 2 no matter how bad it sells? Like, oh, okay.
That was a very funny headline. I like that headline.
Yeah. So and look, Apple, they're the best at this in the world. Certainly they had lots of meetings about this, and even if they were caught by surprise by the demand of this computer, I think they've got surely they have some sort of plan. And I do think it's more evidence that the next one will move to the A19 Pro, which will give it 12 gigabytes of memory, and I think that'll be good. Although in my usage of it, like 8 gigabytes has been fine, totally fine. But
well, I could imagine that just they end up going for a slightly different process for the Neo. I don't know how you would do this, but like, maybe they do need to consider just making, like, not necessarily relying on just the binned chips.
Yeah.
Because it looks like this product is going to be a long-term success now.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe there is a slightly different thing they need to work out for how they can produce enough chips for this reliably.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it, but maybe it's just one of those things of like, oh, okay, As long as it's always kind of going along with the iPhone, you just end up with scale. You bring the cost down due to scale, but maybe it can't just only rely on bind. But the fascinating thing to have happened to them. It's obviously not expected.
Yeah.
It does feel like this computer is a much bigger hit than anybody would have assumed. And ultimately, it's because Apple have, one, made something cool, and two, marketed it cool.
Yeah.
Like, they've done a very good job marketing this product, and it's made it actually a thing, not just an option. And I think that is really weird.
It's fascinating. I think it's great. I think it's great.
For those of you ripping apart your MacBook Neos, you can now get parts in the self-service repair program, so that's good news.
It's good news. If you break something, you can order it up.
I wonder if you can get keyboards. Like, you could maybe change your keyboard color.
So if it's like the other things in the self-service repair store, when you put your serial number in, it restricts the options you can order to compatible parts, and Apple considers color a compatibility issue.
Ooh.
But through the magic of buying two of them, you could swap parts around.
You could. So I think you should look to do that, too.
I mean, I've got a citrus and an indigo. That'd be a horrible.
Yeah, I'm not sure that one's going to work.
Really bad.
I don't think that one's going to work.
Really bad.
Interesting. I wanted to also mention an article from Antonio G.D. Benedetto on The Verge, where they've really been on the beat of like the Neo and the PC, and they asked for 3 companies to send the products that they think compete with the Neo, and they got a product from Asus, Lenovo, and Acer. If you don't mind, I would like to read 2 paragraphs from this article, which is really good. Like, I recommend going to read this article. It's really good. But I think this gives a real interesting kind of like state of the industry now that the Neo's here. The flaws shown by all 3 of these Windows laptops, lackluster screens, crummy sounding speakers, and middling trackpads, are almost impossible to avoid on laptops in this price range, but the game has changed. The MacBook Neo exists, and it smokes all of them in the quality of life territory. It's got a brighter, more colorful screen, a trackpad you can easily click anywhere, a sharp webcam that does your face some justice, and speakers that don't assault your ears. It even has a hinge you can open smoothly with one finger. The Windows laptops snap closed or slide around if you try to do the same. I've heard murmurs that some PC laptop makers are aiming to release proper Neo competitors this year, but it's going to be difficult for any PC company to compete on price and hardware quality. Apple manages it with the Neo thanks to its vertical integration, complete with its own operating system and in-house chip. PC makers have to figure out a way to stop cost-cutting the wrong corners, like screens, trackpads, and speakers, and they need to do that without raising prices. That's going to be hard, especially now, but if they can't, the Neo will be the easy answer again and again. I really liked this. I liked the reviews. There's like mini reviews of each of these computers, and I like that analysis at the end because it reminds me of the article that Joanna Stern wrote for The Verge for the Apple at 50 thing, just saying that, like, you know, when Joanna was the laptop reviewer at The Verge, basically the meme was every article was for $200 more, you can get a MacBook Air.
Yeah.
But now it feels like for $200 less, you can get a MacBook Neo. Because like some of these products, like they're all in the kind of $700 price range, but a couple of them were discounted. That one of them was like a $1,000 laptop that you could now get for $700. So it's still not as cheap as the Neo. And yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they're right. You know, Apple, that's always been Apple's game, but boy, they leaned into it this time.
Yeah, it's always been their game, but that game didn't help them produce cheaper products.
Yeah. It helped them make more margin on their products.
Yeah, exactly. But now they've kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. But it does put PC makers in trouble. And it reminded me, Marquez had a video on his channel a couple of weeks ago, basically looking at this. But his point, and some other points, other people I've seen make this point, is one way that PC manufacturers get costs down is bloatware. right? They make a
Yep.
deal with McAfee or Norton or, whoever. That software gets loaded on the computer and it takes some money off of the price, right? And what that means is that in addition to your PC being less well built and, maybe not as nice of a screen, all these other things mentioned in that article, you also have to deal with Windows, which is at kind of an all-time low, I think, or at least a recent time low in terms of opinion. And it comes with a bunch of crap on it. And it's like you compare that to the Neo that also works with your iPhone, right? Like that's the thing that Apple's tapping into this in a lot of ways. Is like you have your messages and your photos and your notes on your phone. What if they were all on your computer and that computer were yellow, right? It's the genius of this computer just continues to astound me that Apple can attack all of this stuff in all of these different ways. And if you're Lenovo or HP or whoever, and you're looking at this, it's like, it can't feel good. It's like, how can you manage this? That's rough. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Fitbod. When you want to change your fitness level, it can be hard to know how to begin. It's a complicated world out there when it comes to working out. That's where Fitbod comes in. It's easy and affordable, and it builds a fitness plan just for you. Because everyone's fitness path is different. So Fitbod uses real data, your data, to make sure they're customizing things exactly to suit you. It adapts as you improve, so each workout will be challenging, pushing you to make the progress you want to make. Superior results are achieved when a workout program is tailored to your unique body, experience, environment, and goals, which Fitbod all stores for you. It tracks muscle recovery so you can avoid burnout and keep up momentum. And it builds your best possible workouts by combining AI with exercise science. The team has analyzed billions of data points that have been fine-tuned by certified personal trainers. And you can be sure you're learning new movements the right way thanks to more than 1,000 demonstration videos. So Fitbod tracks all this. Tracks muscle fatigue and recovery to make sure these workout routines are well balanced. It also means you're never going to get bored because the app mixes up your workouts with new exercises, rep schemes, supersets, and circuits. One great feature is that you can tell Fitbod what equipment you have available to you. So I'm at home this week. I've got my little home gym in the garage, and Fitbod knows exactly what I have down there. But next week I'm traveling and probably not going to have access to a gym. And if I want to do a workout, I can tell Fitbod, hey, this is going to be body weight only, or maybe what the hotel has will be different than what I have. And you can input all that really easily. And of course, it integrates with everything I have. So it integrates with my Apple Watch and Apple Health. But if you have a Wear OS smartwatch or you use Strava or Fitbit or something like that, it also just works. It's really awesome. So this can be expensive if you're going to do this through personalized training. This high quality stuff is pricey. But Fitbod is just $15.99 a month or $95.99 a year. But you can get 25% off your membership by signing up at fitbod.me/connected. That's FITBOD. Fitbod.me/connected for 25% off your membership and your customized fitness plan. Our thanks to Fitbod for the support of our bodies, this show, and Relay. I was listening to Upgrade, as one does, and y'all were talking about y'all's origin stories with Apple.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, I want to do that. And then I remembered I have a podcast.
Yeah, you can do that.
I can do that. And Federico's gone, so maybe he can do his next week.
Yeah.
He'll be back, space jamming. But I thought I just want to talk about this a little bit. I've done it in various places over the years, but kind of like wanted it all in one place. What really jumped out at me in the Upgrade episode was y'all's comments around how you and Jason like crested the two big waves, right?
Yeah.
Jason, like in the Apple II era, like so many people Jason's age, like the Apple II is what defined their youth and why they do what they do now.
And then I'm the iPod.
And you're the iPod.
Yeah.
And I actually am not in the middle, but I'm much closer to you than to Jason.
Yeah.
But I am not either of those things really. Because I'm only 3 years older than you. Is that right? 2 years older than you.
What year were you born?
86.
2 years.
2 years. Obviously, much younger than Jason.
Why are you doing this? Is this what you're lashing out because me and Federico do this to you?
Yeah, I guess so. And I've got those early stories. Like, I'm pretty sure my first grade classroom had an Apple II, but I'm not sure if that's an actual memory or one I've retconned into my memory.
Yeah.
Hard to say. My first grade teacher was this little old lady named Mrs. Brown. Pretty sure we had Apple II in her classroom. But my elementary school had Macs for sure. But they were just like, there was one, not every classroom had one. And it was basically like some educational games. And they were all like beige, all in ones. I mean, this was the early to mid 90s. But it really clicked for me in 2001 in high school at the high school newspaper. And that's where my story and Jason's story and actually Gruber's story are very similar, where we were at our student newspapers. I was at high school and my college paper. I think both of them were just at their college paper. But that's where it clicked for me. It was like, oh, I can like use a Mac to make things that I want to make. And like that's still kind of my ethos when I think about the Mac today. For me, though, because I was a little earlier than you, it was like Mac OS 8.6 and Mac OS 9 on a bunch of beige Macs in 2001, right? 2001 was the beginning of the OS 10 era. There were colorful, G3s, but we didn't have any of those because like the newspaper room kind of got like hand-me-down Macs from the classrooms. But eventually we got OS 10 on a bunch of colored iMac G3s. I remember distinctly setting the wallpaper to match the color of the iMac, right? So like the lime one had a green wallpaper, blueberry one had a blue one. No one cared but me, but I cared.
It's important though.
Yeah. No one cares, but I care. And in that transition, we moved from back in the day, Myke, you're not going to believe this, but there used to be a thing called newspapers, and the way they were printed is you would do your design on the computer. For me, it was Quark Express. You would print it, and then you would cut it out and you would paste it down on a board, and that board would get photographed by the printer, and they would print that.
No, they weren't actually photographing.
They were at the end. I mean, initially they were like reading them with some sort of crazy thing and making plates, but the end they had like these big. Yeah, I mean, it was with at least the printer we used had a big camera, but
they didn't scan it?
I don't think so.
That's unbelievable to me.
Well, it's like an 11 by 17. It's a broadsheet. Two of those side by side.
Camera.
But then we moved to digital. So like we moved to like sending them PDFs, and I learned that in high school. I repeated that task in college because in 2004, when I showed up at my college paper, they were doing paste up still. I was like, no, we got it. What are we doing? We got to send PDFs. When I think about that time period, I think Jason mentioned a teacher that like was really like influential in this for him. And I know Gruber has talked about that too. So for me, it was like the IT person at my high school. And she, I think, worked at a lot of high schools. She wasn't at our school every day. But I was used to OS 9, where you could basically do whatever you wanted. Like there were no rules. It's like, yeah, just like move files around and, worst case scenario, your system doesn't boot. But OS 10 had this thing called permissions that I didn't understand. And I went to go copy like the font folder. So all the computers had the same fonts on them. Probably not legal, but I didn't understand. And at the time, Mac OS 10 was new. And basically it meant that I replaced like the system fonts and not the user fonts. And then I broke all the computers, and like she had to come fix them and then like taught me like, okay, there's like system stuff and there's user stuff, and they're different things. And that's not the way the classic Mac OS worked. And she was like surprisingly cool that just like some kid, some junior in high school, like broke 5 Macs because he wanted to steal fonts between computers. Surprisingly cool with it. And I think about that. Like I think about like what Jason said and what John has said and other people have said. Like sometimes you just have somebody who is influential at the right time with the right thing, right?
Yeah.
And she doesn't remember me. Like, this was, I'm sure, just one of many headaches she had that week. But it meant a lot to me that she took the time to explain it to me and to teach me, like, oh, these things are different. And it grew from there, like, and I ended up with an iPod in 2003, and then I sort of catch up with you, right? Like, I'm using a Mac full time. I have an iPod. The iPod is very important to me. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that I'm like a little ahead of you, but sort of kind of in the same camp.
Well, yeah, because you had a Mac before you had an iPod. I think that's a big difference to me.
Yeah. So in high school, I had a high school job that through that job, for some reason, the owner, I was doing design for them, and the company had a titanium PowerBook that he just let me use as my own computer, which was really dumb because I was in high school. I took that machine to college. I was still working for them through college a little bit. And yeah, so I had a PowerBook, and it went with me to class and back and forth to work. And like it was faster than the Power Mac G4 that I had at the college newspaper. So I would bring it to the paper at night when I was working, and I would do all my layout stuff on the Power Mac. But if I had like a big, like, it wasn't Illustrator at the time. I guess we were using freehand or I don't know, something, or like a big Photoshop file, I would do it on my PowerBook because it was faster. And then I would like save it to the network so I could get it on my slower G4 that I was using to lay out the paper. Multi-computer lifestyle, really, if you think about it.
Always. You had your downstairs PowerBook and your upstairs Power Mac.
That's right. The newsroom was upstairs in the building. That's very
There you go. See, I knew that.
Did you?
No.
Oh, man. Okay. The other thing, kind of the other Apple history thing, was The Verge did this 50 best Apple products.
Yes.
And I have concerns.
Yeah, we very briefly touched on it last week, but I actually wanted to go through some of the rankings. So they've got their like final ranking that was voted on by readers of the website. They were pre-picked by, I believe, just Nilay and David. I haven't yet listened to their 2-hour episode for members where they go through the list. It's on my podcast list to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the list, and I thought we could maybe go through it. How would you like to go through it? We're not going to go through all 50.
Yeah, I think we just talk about maybe the top several, and then
Let's do the top 20, and we'll go from 20 to 1.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right. So this is the way that they have done this is not how I would do it, where it's software, services, and products. I don't think I would do it this way, but yeah. I don't know. Maybe I would. I'm not sure. So we've got 20. Original iPod Mini.
Huge, right?
Yeah, got to be in there.
So we should say there's a difference in ranking between best and most important. And as someone who does a lot of this stuff, like in my writing, I struggle with this. Like some of these things they chose, I would not have put in either list. Because the iPad 2 is better than the first iPad, but it's not more important than the first iPad. And every iPad after that is better. So you didn't follow that rule either. Like that's tricky, I think. And depending on how you interpret, best or most important, how you vote can change things. And so, I think the iPod Mini actually kind of strikes both, like super important. It turned the iPod into a fashion item, right? And that was a huge moment.
You could argue the iPod Mini saved Apple. You could make that argument.
Yeah.
Because lots of people make the argument that it was like the iPod, right? And the iPod Mini was the one where it went from a thing to a thing everyone wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the one. 19, FaceTime.
It seems high to me that it's here.
But also, it is like...
It's important.
The verb to describe a video call.
Yeah.
Right?
It is.
Like, nothing else really... Like, Zoom exists, but you don't really think about Zooming grandma, Mm-hmm. Like, for personal video calls, FaceTime is very, very popular. 18 Power Mac G3. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Why? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
You know, Jason said something interesting on Upgrade. Like, a lot of people were actually mad about this computer because pros didn't want a blue and white computer, and it did retain one ADB port, and you could get a SCSI card for it. Like, it was a transitional machine in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I love this machine because that high school job, like, this was actually the first computer I used there, and I have that exact Macintosh in my office right now. Like, I kept it.
Look, the Power Mac G3 is amazing, and I lusted for one. There are just many more Macs that are not higher than it.
Yeah, the iMac G4 we're not going to talk about because it's ranked 21 on this list.
Yes, the Power Mac G3, while a great computer, is not number 18.
No, it's not. There's a lot of recency bias and stuff into this list.
I wouldn't call the Power Mac G3's inclusion a recency bias. When did that computer come out?
1999.
Yeah, you said this before, recency. Like, this is not recent. This is not recent. Or, like, I think Gruber and John Syracuse were like, oh, the kids are voting these things.
I mean,
like, what are
the
you
Mac
talking
Plus,
about?
the Mac SE30, you know, all that stuff's further down.
But this isn't like the kids. The kids didn't all vote for the Power Mac G3 to be 18.
That's right. I am curious who voted for the Power Mac G3.
Yes.
You know, but 17 is Apple Pay, which I think is the highest service on this list. And
it depends on what you count AirDrop as, which is number 16.
I think AirDrop's a feature.
It's a feature rather than a service.
It's a feature, not a product.
Yeah. I mean, Apple Pay is very important.
Yes.
Like, we were making fun of it, but like they were mentioning Apple Pay in all of their marketing for Apple at 50.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is like, it's a fundamental thing in life.
Yeah. And what it did in the US, because we didn't have contactless payment here really before Apple Pay, not the way we do now. You know, y'all were ahead of us in that.
Mm-hmm.
But Apple Pay is what made contactless payment popular in the US to a point now where if I go to a place that doesn't support Apple Pay, I'm actively annoyed because I just want to use my phone. I want the security that the store on the other end doesn't get my actual credit card number, right?
Or your physical credit card, which is like that.
Yeah.
This mad thing that happens in America where they just take your card away from you.
Yes. Even though I feel like that's changing too. More places I feel like are doing the thing like at restaurants where like you pay at the table. That I think is coming around. And I think Apple Pay is part of that too, right? People want to tap to pay. So yes, I think it being the top service makes a lot of sense.
I want to check what it is. Like the UK Apple Pay limit, I feel like would be quite surprising to you.
It's low, isn't it?
No, it's massive. It's like, so technically there is no limit. It's just what the retailer wants it to be.
Whoa.
Like, I've paid hundreds of pounds on Apple Pay.
Yeah. I probably have to.
Okay. There you go.
Probably just at the Apple Store.
Number 16 was AirDrop. Again, I also feel like I get it. I get the AirDrop. I get AirDrop being high if in the way that Apple Pay is high.
Yeah. It's a good example of the ecosystem factor, right?
Yeah.
That even though with AirDrop specifically, that's broken down a little bit because it is supported on some Android phones now, but generally it's like a ecosystem feature. And I mean, I use it all the time, dude. Like, cause I've got, just like you, like I've got a development phone that's on a different Apple ID. So I can't like save a file to photos and it show up on my Mac. I just AirDrop stuff to myself all the time. And it's really like a critical part of how I work.
Number 15 is iPhone 5S.
Yeah.
I have a problem with the description for this one.
Okay, what did they
wrote
say?
This description. 2 words, Touch ID. That's fine. 2 more, iOS 7. The moment Apple ditched its skeuomorphic design and embraced the world in which everything was digital, this is a lot of people's all-time favorite iPhone. This is some severe retconning for iOS 7's impression on the world at the time that it launched.
People were pissed at iOS 7.
Yes, because it was
bad.
Very half. But you think iOS 26 is half baked? Try iOS 7.
Yeah.
That was like, because it was, right? Like the story is, it was put together very quickly because it was when Johnny took over from Forstall.
Mm-hmm.
So like iOS 7, I liked it, but it was very problematic.
Yeah. My initial reaction to this being on the list was you got the wrong phone. The 5 should be on the list. But then I sort of stopped and thought about it a bit more.
Touch
I was
ID.
like, Touch ID, it was 64-bit. And so Apple was really flexing its silicon muscles at this point. I didn't even think about iOS 7, honestly, coming on this phone. Like, didn't even cross my mind that would be a factor until you read that. But
like, I do think that it is weird to me that in this, so spoilers, in this top 20, that is the most modern iPhone.
Yeah.
I feel like, I feel like the fact that the 6 Plus is not up here is wild to me.
Yes.
Because no one's using phones that small as the iPhone 5S anymore.
Yeah.
And like, there are no big phones on this list, and the biggest phones are always the most popular phones. That is very weird to me that they up there.
And the 6 and 6 Plus, like, we talked about it for years, right? Because it wrecked Apple's results for a long time.
Yeah.
Because it catapulted the phone to all new heights.
Yeah. Oh, what about the iPhone 10?
Yeah, why does the 10S on this list? That's the like when I wrote down my list of like products they shouldn't have picked, the 10S was first. It's like why is that there? Why is that there? Come on,
what,
David.
the 10S?
Yeah.
Well, because also you got the 10S Max.
But why not the 10? Like if you're going to choose one of those phones, it's the 10. Between the 10, the 10S, and the 10S Max.
Okay.
I don't know.
I need to listen to their deliberations. I'm sure they've got some.
Oh, I was...
Well, they say the iPhone 10 was Apple's big anniversary redesign with a bigger screen and a new notch at the top, but it took another year to get it right. The 10S Max was
What does that mean?
It was fast, it had Face ID, and it was the smoothest iPhone yet.
It didn't... There was nothing wrong with the 10.
Yeah, I know. I don't know, man.
They basically repeated that logic on the podcast. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, the 10... Like, I think actually the 10S and the 10 Face ID was no different. I think it was a later phone where they added like the horizontal unlock and stuff.
Yes. I mean, look, the thing about the 10S over the 10S Max is it came in 2 sizes. Like that is a big deal.
That's the biggest change I think that matters.
Yes. Yes, because I was happy. The 10S Max made me a very happy man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and it was gold.
We're never going to get through this list. We're spending more time talking about the things that aren't on it. I love it. Where are we? Okay, 14, the original AirPods Pro. Great.
Yes.
We can all agree and we can move on.
Fantastic product.
13, the Apple IIe.
I think it's good. I think...
Okay, I was expecting another 20-minute diversion.
No. I mean, I won't do it because y'all covered it really well. But like, it sustained Apple for a decade when the Mac wasn't a good computer yet.
Yeah. 12, the original AirPods.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I could maybe argue that we don't need AirPods and AirPods Pro in here, but
I think we do. But I think it's AirPods 2, not AirPods.
Yes. Okay.
Because I think AirPods 2 was the one that became a cultural moment. I don't think it was the original.
Because the first ones looked kind of goofy. Correctly. Like, I remember, and I'm sure a lot of people have this experience, right? With the first iPhone or the first Apple Watch, like you feel self-conscious about it.
Yes.
Boy, I had that with the first AirPods big time. I was like, I feel like everyone has noticed this. And, I think it's probably like the Mad Men scene of like, I don't think about you at all. But it felt like, oh, I'm in the gym or I'm at the grocery store or whatever, and I'm wearing these and like, oh, look at Future Boy over there. But the AirPods 2, I think, really were when they took off. Okay. Next, the original iPad.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. I can't believe this isn't top 10.
It's surprising because I have a lot of problems with number 9.
Okay, what is number 9?
Well, we got to do number 10 first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's how you keep people listening. It's about retention.
I love it. 10 is the iPod with the click wheel, 4th gen.
Yes, I agree with this.
This is when they went away from the horrible buttons.
Well, that was my favorite iPod because it was my first one. But a couple things happened. The click wheel one, yes, made a lot more sense to a lot more people. It's also when the price started coming down in a more meaningful way. It's where they added color. Was to the, like, I think when most people think about the iPod, this is the one they picture. This one maybe the fifth gen with video, but this was sort of when the iPod found itself because clearly the click wheel was the way to go. And before this, they had buttons around the outside, and they had the 4 buttons across the top. The click wheel started with the Mini. That's where it was first debuted. But like, click wheel iPod is the iPod in a lot of people's mind, I think. And so, yeah, 10 is great.
Number 9 is the slim unibody iMac.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why was this chosen to be on this list? I mean, they didn't redesign it for 15 years. It's just not... I just don't know. Like, if you're going to talk about the iMac, you have the G3, the G4, the G5. I get all that. They were all in this list somewhere, I think. But then why, like, the slim unibody iMac? Why not?
Because, like, it's a very, very, very popular computer. Like the 27-inch iMac?
Yeah, but like, why not the Retina iMac? If you're talking about best, that's the best version of this.
They're not talking about best. I actually don't think they just called top 50.
I know.
And I guess you can decide.
And maybe in people's mind, slim unibody iMac encompasses all of them, right? But it just...
But all of what, though? Like, from...
Like, the regular iMac, the 5K Retina... because when these first came out, they weren't Retina, right? They were like 1080p or something.
Okay.
I don't know. It strikes me as strange that it's such a broad product, because this product lasted basically 12 or 13 years, and like,
I mean, they are counting from 2012 to when it ended.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're like specifically not trying to pick specific ones, right?
Yeah.
So like, I think this is fine.
Yeah.
It's like a very broad brush it's like if it was aluminium, essentially, they're counting it here. And I don't think it's top 10,
no.
But I do think its inclusion makes sense to me.
Okay. And I guess I'm a little surprised that it's top 10. Like, do that many people have an affinity for this computer?
I guess. I mean, it was around for such a long time.
How could you not, right? And like, I loved my Retina iMac, and I loved the iMac Pro that came after it, but it strikes me as odd that it's not so high.
All right, number 8, Wedge MacBook Air.
Dude, it changed laptops.
Yeah.
What more do you need to say?
Number 7. We're just going to blow through it. Bondi Blue iMac.
Too low on the list, but...
You think so?
I think so.
I mean, all right, so... Okay, I'm just going to blast through the rest, because I think it's important to put it in context.
Okay.
6, iPhone 4. 5, Mac OS X. 4, the original iPod. 3, the original Macintosh. 2, the M1 chip. 1, original iPhone. Mm-hmm. So where would you put the Bondi Blue iMac?
I think I would go... I think I'd maybe swap it with the original iPod, I think.
So you would say that the Bondi Blue iMac over the iPhone 4?
Maybe this is the important versus best thing again. But like, without the Bondi Blue iMac, you never get to the iPhone 4. You never get to the iPod.
Right, but then so Bondi Blue iMac is number 1 then, and I don't agree with that.
No, 7 just feels low. It just feels low.
No, I don't think... Maybe it feels low. I don't think it's higher than any of these.
Maybe.
Although the
maybe
M1
that's my
chip
problem.
one is still a weird thing to put in here. Like, I wouldn't put that in at all.
Yeah. This is a little strange.
So, like, if you take that away, now it's 6, but I don't... I also do... okay, so for me, I would do products. So Mac OS X and the M1 chip are not in this list at all.
Ooh. You just do hardware products.
I would just do products. Like, you have to be able to hold it, I think, is important to me.
Well, you could hold OS X. It came on CDs.
It doesn't count.
I know what you mean. Like, I know what you mean.
Because then it's like, what, all of Mac OS X? Why not all of the iMac, right? Like, why not all of the iPod?
Yeah.
Like,
and they made a good case on the Vergecast for this. Like,
I mean, there are good cases you can make. I'm just saying this if it was my list, but this isn't my list. And I think with their list being what it is, I wouldn't put the Bondi Blue iMac over any of these.
Okay. Do you know it's been 10 years exactly since I started collecting all those iMacs?
That's wonderful.
It was in my like photo of the day widget in Widgetsmith, and I was like, holy smokes.
Then you should write something about it again.
I should.
I think you should write something
okay. I have not bought a computer in a long time, like a collection computer.
Yeah.
I've really been good. I have something coming to me that I've been looking for at least 10 years, if not longer. And one, I became aware of one, and it is heading to me. And that's all I'm going to say. Because
you can't do that.
Because I'm also going to make a video on it.
What is it?
I can't tell you.
Is it related to the iMac?
I can't tell you that. I just thought about it because I thought about the 10 years since I bought
you
those
have to
iMacs.
tell me when we're done.
I'll tell you when we're done.
Okay. I don't know where we are now.
iPhone 4 being the top iPhone on the list, other than the original. Other than the original, yes. Like the 4 was beautiful and amazing, and the Retina screen and FaceTime and all those things.
I still think they need more iPhones higher up, but I do agree that like the only phone that could maybe be close to the original iPhone is the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was so good, man. The 4 is just so good. Mac OS 10, which you mentioned, really what they wrote and what they talked about was Mac OS 10 being the connector between you bought Next and that technology now powers everything. I get it.
Then why is it not number 1 then?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the problem, right? It's like these things,
Yes.
you know.
The issue is, I think the disconnect. Whilst this is I think this is an incredible project that they did, and I'm so happy that they did it.
Oh, yeah, we're arguing about like an amazing thing here.
I think the problem is trying to take David and Nilay's opinions and putting them against the masses is the issue. Because they make a really good point for why you would include this, but that point doesn't match with the results, I think.
Yeah.
Because if you're making the point of we include macOS 10 because you don't have anything else, well, then macOS 10 should be number 1. But it isn't number 1. It's number 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the same as including the M1 chip at all. Why is it there? So what do they give for the M1 chip, which is at number 2?
Number 2.
The moment Apple goes from a company that makes its own processors to an absolute silicon powerhouse, the M1 first shipped on a MacBook Air and offered a combination of power and battery that its competitors still can't match. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, so like here's the thing. So Zoe says, Nilay says macOS 10 was his personal number 1. It's like, I get that. But the problem is then you let people vote on it and it doesn't make sense anymore to me. But anyway, here we are. 5 was the OS 10. 4 was the original iPod.
Yep.
Number 3 was the original Mac.
I'm going to say something that I think that's a little bit like the iOS 7 thing. It's just a hair of like revisionist history.
Yeah,
like
I'm going to say a thing that I'm not sure I agree with. We put the Mac on a pedestal.
The original one, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Like the thing that I've walked away from the Apple at 50 book, which I just finished last night.
The Pogue book?
The Pogue book. You have 2 photos in that book?
I know you do, which is really my favorite thing.
Okay, we don't talk about that. I had forgotten about it. So, okay, we'll just tell the story. So, a couple nights ago at like 11 p.m., I'm reading this book, and I come across one of my photos, and I turned to Mary and be like, "My photo's in this book," and I texted you and Jason was like, "Yeah, don't you remember? Like, I got them in touch with you, and you like signed a thing." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot all about that." Because it happened in the middle of our St. Jude campaign, and like anything that happens during the fundraiser, I don't remember, other than the fundraiser. So
you probably told me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 photos.
And I don't remember.
I'm very cool. It's very cool to be part of it. Very thankful they reached out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't remember initially and was angry for a second. The original Macintosh was it changed everything, but only because later models were successful. Say the Lisa had been successful and there had been the Lisa 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Then we would say, oh, the original Lisa is the top of the list. But it's not, because it didn't change the world, right? The Lisa was too expensive. It was flawed in lots of ways. The original Macintosh gets held up because later models, when Jobs was gone, like the Mac's success. So what I learned from the Pogue book, or what was reinforced to me in the Pogue book, was John Scully and other Apple executives are why the Macintosh was successful in the long run. Because if it was just a closed box that you couldn't do anything with, then it was going to live a short life. Just saying. Jason made a joke about like the Scully reputation repair tour or whatever. It's like, it's not a bad thing.
Yep.
Like, yeah, he made some mistakes. And yeah, maybe you don't sink all the money into the Newton, but boy, if you had not let the team build a Mac with slots and add color to the Mac and expand the Mac into different form factors, the original Macintosh would not be number 3 on this list.
All right, then we've got the M1 chip in the iPhone.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would not put the M1 chip on this list, but it deserves to be in the top 10 if it's going to be on the list, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think you can make this list and not put the iPhone number 1.
Yeah, the original iPhone, I think, was always going to be number 1. Like, when I saw this, my thought was, like, the iPhone wins.
I mean, it's probably the greatest piece of consumer technology of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's anything better. Like, I know that there are a lot of things that had to happen to get it here, but none of those are more important than this. So at least it came out in the end at the right point.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What changed the world more, the original iPhone or the original Mac?
The iPhone.
I think so too.
Yeah, the iPhone changed the world more.
I think the iPhone's legacy or impact will be felt much longer.
Yeah.
And what really makes me think that is that there are so many people in the world that do not have and may never have a desktop or a notebook computer.
Yeah.
But they have a smartphone. And it may not be an iPhone. It's probably not an iPhone. But whatever phone they've got owes a lot to the original iPhone.
Well, because I think for the Mac brought Microsoft into the world, right? In a way, right? Like, people having personal computers meant that we got Windows PCs ultimately. And I feel like the iPhone meant that people have iPhones. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I know we have Android as well, but I think the iPhone is successful at a level that Apple have not been with computers ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the amount of market share that they have, it's completely different. So,
all right, take that, The Verge. We love you.
I don't think they need to take anything. I'm very behind on the Vergecast, but I'm meaning to listen to where they also give their own rankings, and I am very confident that they're also unhappy with the ranking that was given by the people.
Yeah. At some point they were arguing about like printers should be higher, I think, which is not wrong. This episode of Connected is brought to you by Mercury Weather. Mercury Weather is a thoughtfully designed and frankly beautiful weather app that shows all your essential weather details at a glance. It is this gorgeous, colorful interface that dynamically adapts to conditions, a little touch that I love. So if it's like warm and sunny, it's got a warm orange color palette. But if it's cold, you're going to have icy tones or deep blue on a rainy night. Those little attention to details is awesome. Mercury uses a glanceable chart layout to present the hourly and daily forecasts in a way that feels intuitive right away. And if you're traveling, Mercury Weather is awesome. They have a trip forecast feature that automatically shows the weather at your destination right in your daily forecast timeline. So you can see what the weather will be where you're going, not just where you are. All of these features are awesome. The design is awesome, but that trip forecast feature really is great. I'm getting ready to do some traveling. I have a lot of traveling this summer, and it's a great way to see what to expect. And when the weather gets serious, Mercury offers storm and hurricane tracking, with maps, live positions, forecast paths, cones, and intensity. Plus widgets that can keep tabs on a specific storm or the closest one right from your home screen. Mercury Weather's gorgeous interface makes it a delight to check the weather every day, even on gray and rainy ones. And the app's business model is simple. No ads, no selling of user data. Mercury is available on all Apple platforms minus tvOS. You can download it, use the standard features for free, and upgrade to Mercury Premium to unlock all the features. Go to mercuryweather.app/connected to download it now. Use that link to let them know that you came from this show. It's mercuryweather.app/connected to go try it out and get the standard features for free. That link is in the show notes. Go check it out. My thanks to Mercury Weather for the support of the show and all of Relay. Myke, WWDC is around the corner.
Yeah.
Which is horrifying. And you had the idea of like we could talk about what we would like to see at WWDC beyond the obvious Apple Intelligence being a thing that matters.
Yeah, what do we want that's not Apple Intelligence? When do we want it now? And also, basically what this ended up being, by and large for me, is here is mostly a list of little things that bother me, and I would like to talk about a couple of them, and then also here's some things that I'm not going to get, but I want them anyway.
Okay.
So can I give you my list?
Please.
These are not ranked in any way. They're just, these were the things, when I sat down to write today, these were the things that I wrote down while I was on the bus on the way to the gym, which is where I do quite a bit of connector prep now. Yeah, iPhone's a great thing. I can't wait to have an iPhone where I can look at two apps side by side, by the way, because that will make my going to the gym on the bus doing connected work much nicer.
Yeah. Okay. Hit me.
I want watchOS to be, I've said tweaked, but I actually want them to kind of give it another go, just in general.
It's been like 3 years since a redesign. Like, let's do it again.
But the redesign didn't go far enough.
Yeah. The restructuring, they added liquid glass, but like the changing what the buttons do kind of thing.
It's not even that. It's like I think that the concept of apps and the way that they are launched on watchOS shouldn't exist. Like I don't think we should have a list of apps on watchOS. And like you scroll through the list and get the app you want. I think that the smart stack and widget kind of idea on watchOS is really good. And tapping one of those to then get a full screen experience is good. But I'm kind of the mind that, and maybe this is very focused on how I use my watch at least, that I don't ever feel like I should be scrolling through a list of apps to get something. I feel like if I've not got it as either a complication or in the smart stack, it's not important enough to be on my Apple Watch.
I had not thought about it this way, but I don't disagree with you. Like I feel like I launch things from complications or the stack.
Yeah, and if there is an app that I access through the list of apps, that app should be encouraged to make something that lives in the smart stack instead.
Mm-hmm.
And so I access it that way. I think Apple needs to push the smart stack a bit further. I don't know why they even have a limit at all.
A smarter stack, if you will.
Just bigger. Just like, do you remember glances?
Yeah, it was like the first take of this. Yeah. They were horizontal, like looks into apps.
But like this idea goes back to the beginning that the Apple Watch is not a computer. It should just be a way to get information to me quickly. So I should never be scrolling through an alphabetical list of apps or navigating an obscene honeycomb to try and find what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see them go further into widgets, not app experiences. And like that is the way that I think by and large the Apple Watch should come to me. I should not go to it.
No, it's actually funny. I wrote in my list, the watchOS Smart Stack should gain custom widgets. Like, why can't we have Widgetsmith? in the Smart Stack? Why can't I build my own things in there? The closest Apple gets right now is you can put 3 complications in the widget at the top of the Smart Stack, which I really like. Like, I like to have like a complication overflow. But
that's at the top for you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have it pinned, maybe, I guess.
You have it pinned. You have it pinned.
Yeah. But but in general, I agree with you. Like, the watch should be less like a computer and more
That's
like
another thing. That
thing.
little one that you mentioned, why can I only have one of those?
Yeah, for real.
Why can I only have one of those? I should be
Mhm.
able to have infinite. Why am I only allowed one? So I want them to redo it. I also, just generally as well, by the way, the workout app, better now, still bad. They have to start again on the workout app.
Yeah.
It's just not good to navigate anymore. They stopped the kind of constant scroll and made it a bit more like inertia based again, and like one scroll at a time to go through the different workout types. That is a band-aid. They need to redo the workout app. I want to see Apple do some work on liquid glass. Like, push it, make some tweaks. There are obvious places that it needs to be improved. There are obviously going to be opportunities to do some new nice things, but just do some work so people feel like you're doing work and make them feel better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Apple Books, ebook and audiobook syncing.
Yeah. They don't have
So
that?
Kindle does this.
Huh.
It's called Whisper Sync. So if you have
Sync.
an Audible
Whisper
book
Sync.
and a Kindle book, it will sync the position between the two. I want Apple to do this with the ebook and audiobook that they offer. That's what I want.
I wonder if there's like a patent issue or something.
I mean, maybe.
I just don't know.
But I still want them to do it. Find a way, you know?
Find a way.
tvOS, similarly to watchOS, you need to redo it. Like, I don't need apps. I don't need apps on my TV. But if you're gonna have to have them because everybody needs their own space.
But it's the future of television, Myke.
That's true. The future's still not here. But to me, the thing about tvOS is the same as it always is. Like, you need to do the engineering and the deal making to get everything in the TV app. Just do what needs to be done, and then also get everybody to use the system player.
Agreed.
That's what I want. That is not
Agreed.
going to happen. I want some hints that the folding iPhone is coming, just because that will be fun. You know, in a few sessions.
Yeah.
Oh, make your iPhone apps responsive. Like, you know, there'll be something. I want them. Just give me them. I want Apple to continue the 50th celebration and give developers in attendance at WWDC the chance to see some cool historic things.
I would be sad because I don't have a ticket. So
I know. I hope they're going to do this, and I think they might, because I know that they have these things going on at Apple Park, right? We've seen it.
Yeah.
They have stuff, and so I think they should let people see it. Even if it's just, you know, at Steve Jobs Theater one day, you can just go around and look at some old Macs. They should do it. Why not? And then my big dream, unveil new products. I want a HomePod with a display and smart glasses. I know I'm not going to get either of them now, but why not just dream? You know, it's good to dream.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want at WWDC.
It is good to dream. Worldwide Dreaming Conference.
Yeah. Why wouldn't dream continuously?
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe run that through Claude.
What? Nearly there.
I agree with all your list. I came to this after you did. I was like, oh, you wrote down basically everything I would write down. Couple other things that I would mention is additional widget sizes. We have a lot of requests for, like, why can't I have a widget that's the size of an app icon, or one that, and this is on Android, which I think is why we get this request, is a widget size that's like 1 high but 4 wide. So it's like a bar size.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be awesome. I certainly would like them, and I think they should just do more of that stuff, especially if the HomePod would display is like widget powered, which it seems like it's going to be. More sizes would be welcome. I agree with you on liquid glass. I want them to focus that primarily on Tahoe, because I think Tahoe has the most problems. I've really just come to accept it on the iPhone. I don't mind it on the iPhone, really. Like, my problems with it are all primarily on the Mac. I wrote app intents with like 8 question marks behind it, like what's going on with that. And my last one is a focus on Control Center. I think there's a lot of like first party features, especially on the Mac version of Control Center, that you just can't use, that they're not options. And I really like the customization of Control Center, but that whole thing is really fiddly. It's really easy to blow up your setup, like moving things around and resizing. I think it should be easier for someone who has never done that to like get a foot in the door. I think a lot of people don't know you can customize Control Center, or like never come across that feature. Like how could Apple make it more useful and easier to use for people?
They also need to get some third-party developers to implement it too.
And they need to get it's there's not a ton of third-party support there. And most it's okay, we'll do it via shortcut, or you can launch my app. And like there should be more there.
I mean, this actually could just go to which Control Center are you talking about actually?
I mean, both. I think
okay.
I think the Mac version is worse off than the iPhone, except when it comes to like the rearranging madness. That's horrible on the iPhone.
Yep.
The other thing I wouldn't mind is to be able to sync my Control Center between devices. Like I would like it to be the same on my iPhone and iPad, but I just dialed in my iPhone and basically never use it on the iPad because rebuilding it and rearranging it's a pain in the butt. So I just haven't.
Okay. There you go. There's your list. What is it like? Cupertino, start your photocopiers, you know?
That's right. That's right. Do what we want. I also think, I've thought this for a long time, I think the general structure of WWDC is like fundamentally broken because these features are basically across every platform now, or like 3 out of the 5 platforms or whatever. And you feel that tension in WWDC where Apple's like talking about the iPhone and they mention a feature that they already showed off in the Mac section, or vice versa.
Like
it's just like
the presentation, the way they do the presentation.
The keynote.
Because they don't want to spoil it for later on, and then it ends up getting really confusing.
Yes. It's like, wait, is that feature on both, or is it just on the iPad? Or like, and yes, there are always going to be platform specific features, but for the features that are going to be everywhere, like say they're bringing something new to Apple Notes this year.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't there be like a productivity section where like, this is what's new in Notes and Reminders? And why is that like shoehorned into an iPhone section or an iPad section? Because
that's how you very quickly make WWDC Google I/O.
Yeah, that's a good point. I/O's
if every team gets to present, people are going to be presenting really boring things.
Yeah, maybe there's a middle ground.
I'm sure there is.
I've just found more and more that WWDC is kind of confusing at times. And, you know, that matters for us because we're trying to cover it. And it's like, what is the truth? Because it's hard to know sometimes.
Well, the way to fix it, you're not going to like, is they should always start with iOS.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they'll cover everything, and then they can talk about the things that are specific to each platform.
Yeah. That's fair.
Do they always start with iOS?
No.
I feel like they don't.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes it's last.
Yeah, I feel like if you start with iOS, you'll talk about everything that's going to be on the main platform and therefore may also be on the other platforms, and they can mention that. And then they can go through later on and talk about the other stuff. But that's going to, you know, it's going to really disrupt the kind of excitement of WWDC.
Yeah. This episode of the show is brought to you by Steam Clock. Let's just be honest, a lot of mobile apps are pretty mediocre. They're not broken. They're fine. They're okay. But you notice the difference the moment you use something good. And that's where Steam Clock software comes in. They build mobile apps for companies who care about taste. They're a design and development studio based in Vancouver, Canada, and they've been shipping great iOS and Android apps for over 15 years. Their clients are growing tech companies that care about mobile, but don't have the in-house team to build something great. Steam Clock works with companies to level up their app so they can go from it's holding us back to it's pulling its weight. Some of their clients discover the hard way that vibe coding your way to the App Store is not a product strategy. So what makes Steam Clock worth calling is not just that they execute well, which of course they do, is that they help you figure out the right approach and give you an honest read on your situation before you commit to anything. Their clients' apps have been downloaded over 10 million times, and they've helped 5 of their clients through acquisitions. So if you're building something and you need a mobile team that cares as much as you do, SteamClock is where to start. Go to steamclock.com/connected to get in touch. That's steamclock.com/connected. My thanks to SteamClock for the support of the show and all of Relay. Would you go to space?
What kind of space are we talking about?
What does that mean?
Well, because you've got low Earth orbit and you've got like the moon.
Space.
Right? So like what are you asking me? Which one?
Would you go to low Earth orbit? Like, would you go to the space station?
I would do it if it was commercial and had been going on for a while.
Okay. Both of those are basically true now.
You know, like Virgin Galactic or whatever, right? Like we're like a few years into that and it's been going fine. I would do it, yeah.
Okay. Would you go to the moon or like deep space?
I don't think so.
Okay. It feels riskier. I mean, It is to a degree, but
it feels like it just feels much more fraught, you know?
Yeah. I don't think I would, but I get car seat in the backseat of a car, or I get car sick in the backseat of a car, so maybe that's part of it. Anyways, Artemis 2, Myke.
Mm-hmm.
As we're recording, we have people coming back from the moon. 3 Americans, 1 Canadian. It's the first time people have been to lunar space in 53 years. 1972, the end of the Apollo missions. And then we did the space shuttle.
And they've gone places no humans ever been before, right?
They went further. So previously, Apollo 13 held the record for being the furthest away from Earth because they were supposed to land on the moon. Then their spaceship exploded and they couldn't land on the moon, and they swung around the moon to get back, and that required a longer slingshot around the back of the moon. Artemis 2, current mission, went further. So they are the 4 people who have gone the furthest away from the planet.
Yep.
Which just has to be a weird feeling. Like, it's very strange.
Cool.
And they're on their way back, and this is like captured. I feel like this has captured the world's attention in a way that I didn't expect.
Yeah, I think so. I think people are feeling feelings about it, which is odd. Like, I know I have been too. Like the imagery. It's the imagery. That's what it is.
I think it is the imagery. I mean, these photos are incredible, and a lot of that is it's views that we haven't seen in a long time. So like the images are better, right?
Or ever.
Those shots of an eclipse where the moon or like the Earth, all that stuff, like the shadows, all of it is just so incredible. And I think people are really plugged into it because a lot of other news is depressing. And like this is a thing that is exciting and new and inspiring, right?
Yeah.
There's something inherently inspiring about exploration, I think.
Yeah.
And this is an important step to return to the surface. Like, you know, there's always people who are throw cold water on this stuff. It's like, well, why are we just going around the moon? It's like, well, this is a step to land. Just like Apollo 8, which was the first mission around the moon, underrated mission, that set the stage to land later on. Same thing here. You know, hopefully a future Artemis mission will be able to land and we'll put people back on the moon. It'd be the first woman on the moon, first person of color on the moon, because it was all white dudes in the 60s and 70s. And so lots of exciting things. And as far as the technology has come, we can learn much more about living on the moon long term, which I think is a potential future. This is a step towards all that, right?
Do you think that's like a real thing?
I think it should be.
Why?
I think if it's not data centers in space because that's silly. But I do think that ultimately, like long term, it benefits humanity to not just be here.
Yeah.
And
but I don't think the moon is it though.
No, but you have to do that first.
Sure.
Because Mars is so much harder. We got to get really good at the moon. But even as this is happening, the administration wants to cut NASA's budget big time next year. Like the same week where these people are flying around the moon.
You're ruining the feel good part. We were just talking about how it's feel good, and now you're making it not feel good.
I know. I think the other reason it has captured people, it is the imagery, but I also think NASA's just done a really good job with the engagement on it. Like, Jim Lovell passed away, I think, last year. Retired Apollo astronaut. He flew on 8 and 13. So he flew on the first mission around the moon, and then 13, which was, nearly a disaster. Everyone knows that story because of the movie and that sort of thing, right? He recorded a voice message for them before he died.
Oh.
And I've got a link to it in the show notes. It's moving. He opens it with like, "Welcome to my old neighborhood." And it's like,
that's sick.
Damn, like such
That's
a good
cold,
job,
man.
It's really cool.
Like, you think you're something?
Yeah, I was there before you were born.
Oh my God, that's so good.
And so I think all of that, has helped people plug into this, and I think it's also really important in the light of future missions and budget issues, and like the SLS rocket itself is a really complicated, probably not good program. Like all of that stuff. People need to feel good about it. That's an important thing of it. One reason there were additional Apollo missions planned, and there were a lot of reasons they didn't happen. Part of it was NASA had already kind of turned its attention to low Earth orbit. We're going to do a space station. We need a shuttle to go back and forth. But also, like, the public lost interest in it. And when the public loses interest in something, then they have a harder time understanding why Congress is paying for it. Even though NASA is something like 0.35% of the federal budget. At its height, it was a low single-digit percentage. Like, it's in the scheme of what the U.S. government spends, this is nothing. Like, nothing. And so people are like, it's too expensive. Like, I just write that off. Like, there's so many other things that we do that matter much less than this.
But if people don't care about it, it's hard to justify it.
If people don't care about it, it's hard to
paid
justify
for by taxes, right?
Exactly.
So
so NASA knows that. And so I think that's one of many reasons they've really leaned into this as a cultural moment. And I hadn't really realized that it had like a broken nerd containment until yesterday. I went and got a haircut, and we were like talking about Artemis. She's like, "Have you seen the moon stuff?" I was like, "Oh, have I seen the moon stuff?"
Oh,
and then
poor you.
Yeah. And then she just walked out halfway through my haircut. But it has broken containment in a way that I did not expect, but I'm very pleased by, because it's inspiring and it's exciting, and to see people push the boundary of what's known it's something that we should do. It's like built into humanity, right? We've done it for forever, right? And so this is another chapter in that story, and it's cool as someone who wasn't around for that stuff, right? Like my dad is like the perfect age where, like, in 1969, the first moon landing, my dad was 14. Like, he remembers it. He lived it, right? Like, he remembers it being on TV, and like, we don't have that, right? I mean, the space shuttle was exciting, but it was flawed and marked by tragedy in a way that Apollo never was, thankfully. And so this is like a return to that. And like during the launch last week, like we've had it on TV. Like, we've just had the NASA stream on TV at my house. It's like just checking in, right? They're going to land on Friday. Like, I'm sure it will be on in our house watching the reentry. And that my kids are excited about it. Like, I think that's great.
They landed in the ocean?
Yes. Yes, they are. It's really the best way to do a capsule. Russia, the Soyuz lands on land. They have parachutes and like retro rockets to slow it down. I mean, if something fails, it doesn't matter if you hit water or land. Really? Like, if your parachutes don't come out, you're dead either way.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
Russia does it because they have all the land mass, right? We don't, compared to them, but the ocean's a really big target and pretty forgiving in terms of like how far off you are. And in those early days, that was important because some of those missions were way off target when they came down. They got better over time. But yes, they will splash down in the ocean. and then be towed into San Diego, I think is the entry point. So hopefully Friday night.
Very cool.
It is cool. It's good news. We should do more of it. We've done it, Myke. We did a podcast.
We absolutely did.
People don't know, but we cut a whole section where we're going to talk about window management on the Mac.
Yeah.
Because
Another
Federico's gone and I can't be stopped. You can't stop me.
Okay.
You want to talk about window management?
No.
Okay. I choose to be stopped.
Oh, good for you. That's really good. I like that. It's good autonomy you got there.
If you want to find links about stuff we spoke about, head on over to relay.fm/connected/598. The links, of course, are also in your podcast player. You can leave feedback. There's a link in the show notes for that, or you can go to connectedfeedback.com. You can join and get Connected Pro, which is the longer and ad-free version of the show. We do it each and every week. It's the best way to support us directly, and you get a bunch of great stuff. In addition to the longer ad-free episode, you get access to the Relay Discord and 2 members-only podcasts and a newsletter and wallpapers and lots of stuff. So go check it out. Myke, can you believe it's just $7 a month?
I cannot believe that.
It's a great deal.
It's a great deal.
Just go sign up. We appreciate you who have. If you want to find us online, you can. Federico's at Space Jam, but, he'll be around next week. He's the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net. You can find Myke across many shows here at Relay, and you can find his work at Cortex Brand and his blogging at theenthusiast.net.
Mm-hmm.
I am at 512pixels.net. That's where I write, and I do things. And Vibe Code now, apparently. Anything else? Are you doing Space Jam? Are you doing any comic book stuff?
I'm not doing Space Jam.
Mm.
I wasn't planning on doing comic book stuff either.
Okay. You're just at home. You got a baby.
Most of the time at home. Yeah.
You got a baby. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for making the show possible. They are Fitbod, Mercury Weather, and Steam Clock. You can learn more about them in the show notes as well. And until next week, Myke, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.